Yes, okay, so that part is taken. Okay. We already started the meeting, but John hasn't started to speak yet, so that's the most important part about it. Yeah, you want me to start over? I'm going to put all these people through listening to it again.
Yes, do it.
Oh, wait a
Yeah.
minute. They're saying yes, do it. No, oh my goodness. Because this is recorded on the YouTube. Well, yeah, I do send your regrets. Oh my goodness. So I know how difficult it is. Well, 5:30. Okay. Well, all right, Will. See you later. Thank you. Bye. Okay, folks, we have a decision to make. Should I start over with my little intro or just go forth? Because I don't want to take time away from John either. I think I'm going to just go forth.
We haven't start over.
No, I have plenty of time. You can go ahead and start over because
yes, start over. Yes.
Okay. For the sake of the recording, I will do that. All right. Welcome. Welcome to you, adventurers and explorers of life's big questions. I see familiar faces, and welcome back to those of you who are here for the first time. We are going to explore the Sufi perspective today to our big question of 2021, which is, what is the purpose of life? I just recently read a Rumi poem which seems to fit. He wrote, "All day I think about it, then at night I say it. Where did I come from? And what am I supposed to be doing today?" So thank you to Susie Cole, President of the Interfaith Council of Rossmore, to the Big Questions Committee. We have Gloria Sunshine with us, Ruth Ahern, and Channing Miller. Thanks also to Will McGarvey, who presently has no electricity. He's executive director of the Contra Costa Interfaith Council and has been hosting this Zoom for, well, let's see, for at least a year of the pandemic. And thanks to Channel 28, who is recording it. When we tune in to how differing spiritual perspectives answer the big question, we have an opportunity to expand our concepts, which ring true to each of us personally. We add to the framework we are developing regarding our philosophic and spiritual outlook. The answers we formulate may depend upon the developmental stage we are in from year to year, even moment to moment sometimes. To a toddler, his purpose of life is to walk without falling. To a frail elderly person, their purpose in life might be to walk without falling. But in between these two stages may be purposes which require running, accomplishing, educating, supporting a family, contributing to our community, and hopefully seeking truth and living it the best we can. It does seem to me that our personally formulated answer to this question of life's purpose needs to be integrated with the bigger picture, the global or cosmic picture. Otherwise, our personally formed answers might just be hanging in space without being integrated into a meaningful and unified whole. So this is something I find myself really thinking about. And hopefully, if we have time for discussion, you all can put in what you think might be the integration of your personal formulated answer integrated with the cosmic and global answer. So I saw an interesting movie recently. It's entitled Soul. The main character was seeking his purpose in life when he fell down a manhole, died, and went to heaven. After having many experiences in heaven, he was given another chance to go back to earth. When he returned, he knew the answer to his search for purpose: to live every moment of life fully. In other words, life is but a day's work, do it well. So let's listen to how our representative of Sufism puts this together. I would like to present Sufi John Ishvaradas Abdallah, founder and executive director of World Without Borders Interfaith Sufi Ashram. John Ishvaradas Abdallah, Abdallah means servant of God in Jewish, Christian, Hindu, and Muslim traditions, is the preferred pen name of Syed Riaz Mahdi. He is a speaker and writer and an independent activist Sufi. He is the author of A Sufi's Rumination on One World Under God. And we came by John's name because one of our big questions committee, Sunshine, was found his book, which is a Sufi's Rumination on One World Under God. And she just received so much energy from reading that book, John, that she went after you and she got you. So Sufi John is passionately involved in interfaith dialogues, conversation and movement promoting a theology of love, peace, and freedom through active nonviolence. He currently serves on the advisory boards and councils of the Christian Muslim Consultative Group, Southern California Committee for a Parliament of the World's Religions, South Coast Interfaith Council, the Gabord Center, Muslims for Progressive Values, and other interfaith as well as secular organizations. Goodness, John, it sounds like you're one of those ones that has been cloned also. So I'd like to present John as, please share your thoughts with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. So I wonder, will be able to join us a little later, maybe.
Well,
Hopefully.
he's hoping, but he was told by PG&E that it might not be until 5:30. One suggestion, John, I have is you do have a lovely accent, but some of us older folks, you know, if you could speak a little slower, that would help us, and we'd appreciate that.
So that will,
Thank you.
No problem. Let me begin with the greetings of Salam, Shalom, Shanti, Faz, Haiwa, peace. You know, they all these words mean the same thing, which is peace. And as we all know, actions speak louder than words. So even though we all say peace and shalom and salam, we know people are still fighting with each other almost everywhere in the world. So hope peace will prevail one of these days. I don't know how long or when it's going to be. And I don't see Gloria. Oh yes, I see Gloria Sunshine. So I want to thank you, Gloria, and Sarah, and also Will, for inviting me to this meeting of very learned people. And because I have attended a couple of meetings of this group, and I found this to be a very informative, very informed group. So let me begin with, she has already introduced me with this book, and I want to show you the title page of the book. Let me see, is it showing?
Yeah, One World Under God.
Yeah.
One World Under God.
Actually, the top line is Sufi's Ruminations. A Sufi's Ruminations on One World Under God. And like Sarah explained, I took this pen name to write this book, or I took the pen name after I wrote the book to, in the, you know, what was his name? The Canadian philosopher, I'm forgetting his name right now. He said, the medium is the message. So I wrote the book. Huh?
I forget too.
McLuhan.
Yeah.
Wasn't it McLuhan?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Marshall McLuhan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Marshall McLuhan.
So, so I took the name because it indicates the spectrum of all the religions. Because let me give you a little bit background how I came about writing this book and all those things. I was an agnostic during my college years. And to cut this story short, because I will have some limitation of the time also, uh, I had a spiritual experience. And at that time, I thought there was some power that I cannot say I am an agnostic anymore. So I started believing in a power, or in the current uh, terminology, maybe the force. I started believing in that, and then one of my uncles was a professor of philosophy at the time, and he suggested that I look into different religions and also look into Sufism. So I did that. Can everybody hear me okay, or is it should I speak louder or
No, you're good.
And
Can everybody mute their microphones?
that is
Right.
the idea.
yes,
Yeah.
I am muted, I see. Yeah. So everybody can hear me, correct? Yes, thumbs up. Okay. All right. Very good. So, so he suggested that I look into Sufism, which was actually my background, in the sense that my family belongs to a group that believed in a Sufi who became like a Sufi saint later. So then I found out that Sufism uh, encompasses all the religions also, and even Islam does, but more Sufism than the religion Islam, which has become a little bit of exclusive. Most religions become exclusive, and I believe they have to be exclusive in the sense that otherwise they will not be able to uh, maybe survive uh, uh, as such. That is the reason why we have so many religions also. Uh, so the name John Ishvaradas Abdallah, John is from John the Baptist as well as John the Apostle. Now John the Baptist was Jewish, and John the Apostle was you can say Christian. At the time, the word Christianity was not into use probably, uh, and so each of whom considered himself to be a servant of God. Then the word Ishvaradas in Sanskrit, Ishvara means God, just like Allah. Allah means God in Arabic. So Ishvara means God, and Das means servant. So Ishvara Das means literally servant of God, and Abdallah also means servant of God. Actually, Abd means the one who worships. Abdallah means one who worships God. So the one who worships God is obviously is servant of God, or by connotation is considered servant of God. So I said, I am a servant of God in at least four major traditions, and by extension, all of them. So on the back of my book, there is a this is a fictional dialogue. My book is I wrote it as a fictional dialogue between two characters, and one of them is Sufi Ahimsa Guruji. As you know, Ahimsa means, because his name is Ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence. And so the other person in the book is a student, and his name is John. And John says, "So you're a Muslim?" So he said, "Yes." And because I am a Muslim, I am a Zoroastrian, a Hindu, a Buddhist, a Christian, a Taoist, a Jew, a Jain, a Sikh, and so forth. So he said, "How is that possible?" So it is. Let me explain. And that's how the book begins. How it begins. How it is possible to be Muslim and to be a person of other religions at the same time. Uh, Maybe some other people can say the same thing. You know, it's not just me. Uh, Looks like Will is coming on, right? Will McGarvey is on?
You're,
Yes.
you're doing great.
Yeah. Okay. I just saw your name over there, so I thought, welcome. Thank you very much, and I just thank you for inviting me and helping me with the link and everything in the past. So it was easy to sign on today. Uh, and so And the topic of our discussion, Sarah explained it very well, is the purpose of life. And the purpose of life, the Sufi explained in the book, is very Islamic type of a purpose of life, which is to seek God. So I say, well, seeking God, I don't know what that means. So I said, experience the existence of God. So that's what I wrote in the book. But since then I have changed a lot of things in my ideas. And like I said, I found it's not a lot of things, but I have taken different aspects from the book and started an organization called uh, is the World Without Borders Interfaith Sufi Ashram. Now, if you all remember, the first commandment said, "Thou shalt have no other God before me." Correct? Is that correct? Hands up. Yeah, and that is the same thing in Arabic. Is La ilaha illallah. That means there is no God but God. So there's similar wordings, but the words are a little different. But the the purpose is the same. The meaning is the same. That thou shalt have no other God before me. So before, in the Arabic phrase, it says there is no God but God. So gods with a small g, they're all false gods. And there's only one God with a capital G. It starts with a capital letter G. And so before you can reach or find out anything about the God, which is Allah or Ishvara or by any other name, you have to overcome or get rid of all the other smaller gods. So that is the reason why I started the organization called World Without Borders. Because all borders, and I'm not just talking about physical borders of between the countries that we usually consider right now. I'm talking about borders between genders, male and female, or other borders that have been created with LBGTQ and all those things, and borders of language, borders of culture. These are all borders. And every border between you and me is a border between me and God. So it's a border as well as a barrier. All borders give us some security, but they also isolate us. So in order to remove the borders, we may not be able to remove the borders, but we can transcend the borders. So that is the idea behind the organization World Without Borders Interfaith Sufi Ashram. Now the word ashram means a place where everyone is welcome without any judgment. So you can speak your mind, just like in this organization over here. We can express our opinions and everyone will listen to it with respect and try to understand the meaning behind it and all those things. So see, the idea is to overcome all these borders, overcome the borders and transcend the borders. So that is what I did. And also I started a Facebook group that is called Why a World Without Borders. So initially the name of the group was the same as my organization's name, but then I changed it to Why a World Without Borders quite recently, about a few months ago, actually. And I think I have received quite a few comments about that one. And very recently, after just about last week, I believe it was, let me see, I posted a question on my Facebook uh, group, the same question: what is the purpose of life? I said, what do you think? Uh, the question was, in one short sentence, what do you think and or believe is the purpose of life? And there are about little over 6,000 members of the group on the Facebook, but about 547 of them looked at the question or liked or seen the question, and about five people loved the question, six people liked the question, and 28 people responded to the question. They answered the question. And I think I have heard in the past also, and maybe we will follow this after my presentation is over, which will be very short. We can have a discussion and everybody can offer an answer to that question. What is the purpose of life? Or what do you think is think or believe? Because some people just think, some people believe. So whatever it is, what do you think is the purpose of life? So some of the answers that I wrote down so I could share with you uh, were very interesting. So this one also, uh, so so before I go there, I mean, as I said, the purpose of my life seems to be like to uh, eventually erase the borders, all kinds of borders, like I said, not just physical borders between countries, but borders of gender, borders of language, borders of culture. So we need to overcome. So that is the purpose. I feel that that is the purpose of my life, to work toward that end, to erase the borders, to remove all these borders so we can have love, peace, and freedom. Now these three things that I use also comes from my book, because God in many religions cannot be defined in words because the words are not enough. And the Quran, for example, says that there is absolutely no way that you can comprehend God. So, and the only way for you to know God is by the attributes of God. And then it has a famous, you must have heard about the 99 names of God in the Quran. And it's actually is 99 times 99 because every attribute or every Arabic word has several meanings to it. Not only just Arabic word, any word has several meanings to it. So when you multiply that, it becomes huge number. So that's how in Hinduism, for example, all these attributes were given a form and a shape and a name, and they became gods uh, to worship. And everybody, or many people, started worshipping these gods with different names and different forms and shapes. Uh, but so my idea over here is uh, to worship God means to try to know God. And there's a lot of places like in Rumi also says, in order for you to know God, you have to know yourself. So this is a Sufi idea also, that to know yourself is to know God. And that doesn't mean that you become God, but because God, like there is another famous Sufi in India, Kabir, who is also a Hindu uh, uh, bhakti, bhakat, and also a Sufi. He says, "Moko kahan dhoond re bande, main to tere paas re." He says, where are you looking for me? God is telling man, where are you looking for me, my servant? I am right near you. In fact, I am right close to you. And the Quranic verse, one of the Quranic verse says, I am closer to you than your jugular vein. So that's how close God is. In a lot of people say God's house is not in Kaaba, which is Mecca, not in Kashi. That's what Kabir says, but it is in your own heart. So that is an idea that is very well accepted in most religions now. Uh, so let me just read some of the answers from this thing that I noted down from my Facebook group. So one of the first one, it says to pass on one's DNA or genes. So that is the purpose of life. Another person said to promote social justice and empathy. And they're all very good. To meet God, say the scriptures, another person wrote. To enjoy the wonders and the beauty of the planet, fulfill your potential, and to be happy. Then another one says the purpose of life is seva, which is a Sanskrit or Hindi word for service. It says seva, loving service to others. Life just is. Another person wrote, life just is until it is not. There is no innate purpose to it. It only has the purpose or the meaning we choose to give. And discovering who we are really, who we really are. That's another one. And then another one is to ask questions. Ask this and searching for the answer. To ask questions and of this kind, and to search for the answer. Another one says learning about the challenges of survival and to reconcile that struggle with the divine vision of love, compassion, and justice in our lives, in all lives, and for nature. And then another one says to leave the world better than you found, to leave the world better than you found your family and community. And, another one says to educate our souls for the next world. So the idea of next world also comes in a lot of religions or a lot of scriptural literature. To know God and to make him known. Another one is to propagate the species. And then it says, I think the purpose of mine is to exist as a warning to others. So I thought that was cute. Uh, and there are some more. To be able to answer the question, does it matter that I have lived? And to be able to say yes. So self is a question. Do justice, love, mercy, uh, walk humbly, do justice, love, mercy, walk humbly with reality, mystery, God. And this is a quotation from Micah 6-8. And then another one is the never cease leaving how, no matter how deep the mysterious uh, tremendum that exists throughout our short time we have in our lives. And then another one says, enjoying the precious gift of the life on this planet, having learning, exploring about the world, and connecting lovingly with people, serving with your best, and creating only the best to gift others. Finally, mystery, merging into the universe with peace and gratitude. Uh, Another one says, helping the vulnerable and being the best person you can be and bring light to the world. Another one says, service, be the change. And be the change is in quotation mark. I think it is from Gandhi. Gandhi says, be the change. Let me switch back to the gallery view so I can see you all. Okay. And another one says to love and be loved. And then says spread hope, happiness, and empathy. Another one says survival of the tribe. So some of them are repeated in different words. And another one says, I don't know what the purpose is. I guess each person needs to feel his or her own purpose. In the larger scientific sense, probably survival of the species. One philosophical question leads to another. So these were some of the answers that I wrote down. So I think we'll probably have a lot more from this group also. And I think I will maybe stop at this time, and we will discuss it from everybody else. What do you think, or what do you feel or believe is the purpose of life? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. You got us off to a good start, and that's quite a list. Probably each of us could endorse a number of the purposes on that list. So
Yes.
maybe we don't just have a purpose. We probably each of us have many purposes. So I also would like to encourage people to share their purposes. I think that that would be a very rich thing for each of us to do. And just raise your hand and unmute yourself and go ahead and share what your purpose is or purposes are. We can give people a chance to think and meditate.
Yeah, Sharon.
Yeah, hi. So the word that came to mind for me was discovery. And beyond that, it was discovery of self to others, self to nature, spirituality, discovery of giving and receiving. And I think on anything that you discover that can be either a positive thing that's happening or a negative thing that's happening. And I believe that, you discover through either one of those two. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So discovery is pretty comprehensive. You can do that in any realm, in any way. So please feel free to share. Just raise your hand. And Sunshine, I think your hand is up.
Yes.
Yes. Well, first of all, Sarah, I wanted to thank you for that great introduction. I don't usually thank people for what they say, but I was impressed because I thought you hit right on your first sentence about integrating our own personal purpose with the cosmic global purpose. And so that's what I sort of struggle with, my personal purpose, because I really found John through Ananda when he spoke for our world religions. And Ananda is my Hindu Christian path that really establishes a purpose of self-realization. And that is I would say, a cosmic and global purpose, as well as a personal purpose. And that personal purpose sort of climbs the ladder of what the Eastern religions call chakras. So I would say it starts with survival and it goes into trying to get our love or our sensual or our reproductive purpose of where we're in that aspect of our life, and we go on to figuring out what to do with the power we have and understanding our power, and then going to understanding our heart and our love and where that fits into the world in service, and as well as in self-love, and then becoming strong enough to speak out about it when we get up to the throat chakra, and then going forth to really get to the meditative and cosmic direction of the third eye and meditation, and then going, hopefully, getting to connection. So that's the journey of my thought of purpose.
Well, thank you. That's quite comprehensive. You pretty much laid out the developmental stages. It would seem to be like the first stage might be, I think somebody presented that as a purpose in John's list, is to, keep the gene pool going, just to, promote oneself and to, keep the human race going. And then you move up from there, the way that Sunshine explained it, it's quite developmental. It's really very interesting.
Well, those are the chakras.
Yeah,
And it
well,
is the.
Go ahead. Oh, those are the chakras. Okay, right.
Mhm.
From the Muladhara, which is the very first basic chakra, up to the third
Crown.
eye. And then what is it called? The crown chakra.
Yeah. How do you feel on that, John?
Yeah, I think, these are all very good. All religions offer some different perspectives, and I think the most comprehensive, this comes from Hinduism,
Right.
chakra system, and they have perfected that kind of a, system. I really appreciate that. I think I see Robert wants to add something.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you, John, and thank you, Sarah, and all the Rossmore community for being here. This is Robert up here in Port Angeles. A couple of meetings ago, I remember that Dr. Nazir, a couple of things he said that stood out for me was one of the purposes is to know the world we live in, if as the divinity and the God, if you will, or whatever your terms for that are, that we live and have our being in. But Dr. Nazir was saying to try to know as much and understand as much of that as we can. And the other thing that he said, and I would also try hold that for myself, is to serve others. And so then where do other people fit into this? And I bring this back to a question from John's talk today, is he said, we really can't know God, but we can know the attributes of God. And if in the people that we're serving, and as we try to get to know God more, when we see people, do we see attributes of God? Maybe when people are at their best, or how do people relate to the attributes of God that you were referring to, John?
Yes, I think you're right. Because the idea of in Islamic tradition as well as in the Quran, the idea of presenting is that you try to absorb these attributes in yourself, in your character, in your behavior, in all those aspects of life. Compassion, mercy, all the Islamic prayers, every surah or every chapter in the Quran begins with the words Bismillah Rahman Rahim, in the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. So you want to absorb those compassion and mercy in your character, so you are compassionate and merciful to others in life, in every aspect of the life. And I used love, peace, and freedom, and I said that love, peace, and freedom is an indivisible trinity, and I extended that to say that because love cannot exist without freedom and peace. Any one of them, love, peace, and freedom, each one of these three attributes cannot exist without the other two. They are integral part of each other. That's why I say it's indivisible Trinity. And I said you can say that in Christianity, the Trinity is love, peace, and freedom. The love is Jesus, peace is Father, and freedom is the Holy Ghost or the Spirit. So in Hinduism also you can say, because there is a Trinity concept in Hinduism also, of Shiva, which is the freedom, and Vishnu, that is sustainer, which is peace, and I'm forgetting the other one. Uh, Maybe Gloria knows
Brahma,
Brahma,
Brahma, the
right?
creator.
The
Mhm.
creative force, which is love. So Brahma is love, and Vishnu is sustainer, which is peace, and Shiva is freedom, because Shiva is remover of all the obstacles and all those things also. So this concept runs through all different traditions, and I think you're right, because that is the purpose of giving all these attributes and saying adapt these attributes and practice them so that you can create a world of love, peace, and freedom. I think that's very good point, Robert. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you. Remember, we are also welcoming you to share your own personal purposes and or to share your purpose that you think perhaps fits the cosmic global thing. Ruth, go ahead.
So I'm thinking that the thing that's most convincing to me is to forward an ever advancing civilization, that each one of us can, one by one, improve the quality of life of the human beings and of the world by following those values of peace and promoting them and living them and helping others to understand that that's where we're going, that we're going to a better place if we all work together. So it brings togetherness and purpose into my life.
Good. And then that's very Baha'i too.
Yes.
The real problem comes, and John, perhaps you have something to say to this, is, we're speaking to the choir here. What about the ones the enemies that we're supposed to love as ourselves? What about those others that are not part of this choir, but who need love and truth and beauty and goodness? And this is open to all. But John, what do we do about those?
I mean, I think you said it right. We just have to continue to work on it, continue to reach them. Hopefully, they will change, but you cannot force anybody, because that's what freedom is all about. Everybody has a choice of freedom, and but freedom comes with responsibility, as well as without peace and without justice and without love, there can be no freedom either. So we have to convey this message uh, continuously and continually to all those people who are not hearing. Maybe someday they will say, "You're right. I have been hearing this all this time. Maybe now I understand." Hopefully that will happen, uh, because we cannot change people. And in the Quran, the God says, uh, nobody can change any person until even God will change them only if the person seeks God's help. So the person has to seek the help. Then only some change can happen. In fact, he told Prophet Muhammad was very despondent at one time, because he said, not many people are listening to my message. He said, that is not your job. Your job is to convey the message. You are the messenger of God. You just convey the message, and that's it. It's up to God, and it's up to that individual to seek the guidance of God. Then God will guide whoever seeks guidance from God. And if a person doesn't seek it, there's not much we can do about it.
Sunshine, go ahead. And then Bridget.
Well, I just wanted to comment on you, John, because I wanted to appreciate your work. Although I'm not an avid Facebook follower, I do see it from time to time. And in the fact that you keep us current with postings of what's happening every day to be aware of, I do feel that is a really important work you're doing. And I thank you for it.
Well, thank you very much. Because that is, the most important thing is to bring awareness. Awareness is the most important thing. You make people aware or convey the message and then hope for the best. That's all you can do.
Bridget, please go ahead, Bridget.
Oh, thank you. One of the quotes that came to my mind with regard to Meher Baba, who created Sufism Reoriented, and which I am a member of, said, "Let your life itself be the message of my love."
That's perfect. Without that, there is nothing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
And you cannot change anyone, but you can be in charge of yourself.
Say that again, Bridget. Would you let your life itself
Be the message of my love?
The message
Right.
of my love.
Yeah.
Yes, and we still have the question of what is your purpose? If any of you would like to share that, we're certainly open to that, and to continue our discussion.
Yeah, I see.
Oh yeah, Channing, go ahead.
Yeah.
Hi. I liked one thing you said, John, more than everything that you said, but one thing that stood out to me, and this is my personal experience. As I have experienced the existence of God, as I have developed a personal relationship with God, I have drawn closer. But at the same time that I've drawn closer, my heart has opened up. I have been transformed by this relationship. And I feel that, much of religion and much of the talks that we have are really intellectual experience. And what I'm seeking is I'm seeking a very personal relationship with God, no matter what name you call God. So that's for me, the main purpose is for me to experience God, to be changed by God, to know God, to feel God, to understand God as much as I possibly can, and to do exactly what you said.
Yes.
Let my message to the world be from your light. I didn't get that right, but anyway.
Let your life itself be the message.
Let your life itself. Yes. So that's what I'm saying is I want my life to be an example.
Yes.
And I heard someone recently say, well, how do you communicate what you want to say? And the person said, I lead by example. It doesn't have to be any words at all. I want to be living my life by example. And I'm certainly far from perfect, but, I try very hard to, let God be the one who's leading me in the world.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. I think that's what Gandhi said also. Gandhi said exactly the same thing, because his life is an open book. You can, you follow my life and you will know what I believe in.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And most of what we do are little things. There's not very many of us that are going to do earth-shaking stuff. You know, we're not going to be standing on podiums and preaching, and we're not going to be shaking the foundations of the world, but we can smile. Sometimes that's the only thing I can think of to do when I go into a store, and so many people look so glum, you know, and it's just amazing what a smile does, you know, and they usually return it. You know, and so it's little things that we can do to, even with our enemies, so to speak, enemies. You know, I don't think we have enemies really, but it appears that some of them want to be enemies. Anyway, anybody else want to share their purpose of life? Go ahead, Ed, please. Unmute yourself, Ed.
I believe that the purpose of life is to prepare ourselves for the next world. Many of the things that have been stated so far are lessons that go to help us make that preparation. The earth is a classroom, and we are learning here to prepare ourselves just as a baby in the womb is prepared to come into our world. We are being prepared to go to the next world. And in the next world, we will come closer to God. We will have a progression towards God and his attributes.
Thank you. Or her attributes.
Yes.
I personally see God as a mother and a father. And that's how I relate to God on a personal level.
Absolutely. You're welcome to do that. We are all welcome to do, however
Yes.
we wish to perceive. Yes.
Okay, so sharing purposes. How about a more cosmic or global purpose? Or how about the question of how does our personal purpose integrate with our big picture purpose? Or maybe go ahead, Sister Marilyn. You're on. Unmute yourself.
Thank you. And thanks for sharing your thoughts, John, and everyone. Many centuries ago, there was a Christian saint who said, Saint Irenaeus, who said, the glory of God is when we are all fully alive. And that resonates very much with me because I was raised in a Catholic tradition that was very individualistic, which I think many Western religions still are stuck in, kind of a me and God relationship and a me and God development over a lifetime. And I have been blessed by my experiences in working with so many different cultures for the past 40 years, doing work with refugees and migrants from all over the world. And I recognize the poverty in our Western thinking, that it's just somehow I get closer and closer to God. I see now that it's impossible. It has to be a we. And I think Saint Irenaeus was talking about all of creation, that when we spend ourselves and our lives in helping everyone else flourish, from the rocks and the rivers to our best friends and even our enemies, when we can do that, then it's God's spirit moving in us. Then it's like Gandhi saying, go ahead, just look at me, because then you'll understand the God that I have come to understand. That, you know, we don't do it alone. And this idea of becoming perfect, or the fundamentalist religions now that are I'm right, you're wrong, or, you know, whatever. It's a very poor, basic, incomplete understanding of what it means to be a human being, much less a universe, you know. So I would say that my understanding of the meaning of life has grown by listening and being immersed in different cultures. I guess as the Baha'i tradition or others, that, you know, if we go deep enough in any tradition, we're going to find compassion and joy, the joy that comes from being compassionate. So I think right now the meaning of my life, and it may change tomorrow, is to live in such a way that my existence brings compassion into the world and brings more joy and more flourishing for other beings. So that if that requires sacrifice on my part, or even death, as in the life of Jesus, so be it. But if it means dancing, so be it too, you know. Just however we can not just believe that we're all connected, but feel it, experience it, you know, the way quantum mechanics is teaching religion right now, how connected we all are very deeply. I don't think it's a matter of faith anymore. It's just, it's true. We are all connected. So anyway, I think it has to do with compassion and joy, and just I grow less so that others can grow more, you know, something like that.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Marilyn. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes, Robert, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a little bit of problem with this. I have a more, I think this is purely humanistic oriented. And to give you an example, an excellent movie, I don't know if anyone's seen The Octopus, which is a phenomenal movie about this animal is making this personal connection and so forth. And I was very impressed with that. One of my problems too is talking about the attributes of God and all trying to determine this in our own personal humanistic thing. I have a little bit of a problem for that because I'm not convinced that God exists, and that makes me take on far more responsibility because I'm responsible for myself. But I think we need to focus more on that. And I had written a prologue once, Do Things Happen for a Reason, with changes that happen to my life that require me to stay in my condo for personal reasons, which I can't, and getting into doing writing and things like that. And I have the criteria that I want to live a purposeful life. And I think each person has to find certainly their place to do that. And in my particular case, I've just written a massive article, for example, which has taken me 2 years, about a way to save the long haulers from the colet virus in a treatment that can help them deal with all the complications and so forth. And for me, that being focused in that way in doing things for others gives me purpose to my life very definitely, and taking responsibility for it. But I think, again, I think just trying to fit this into each of our personal things, this is God and he or she controls everything. I don't think, I think that's that's a whole personal feeling. And I think it a lot of times, a lot of so-called sins are created in God's image inappropriately, for example. I think that's probably a mouthful. Okay.
Yeah, I think you have expressed it very clearly. I mean, you know, there is definitely something to think about what you have said.
Thank you.
Well, I got my microphone fixed. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so just going, Robert, from the aesthetic to the ridiculous. I'm reminded of a cartoon that I saw that read, "If our purpose in life is to serve others, what's the purpose of the others?" And what that did for me was it made me analyze my expectations. And so if I am, and I do, live my life with a purpose to serve others, to do good for others, do I expect a result from that? Do I expect them to say thank you? Do I expect them to change the way they think because I helped them through a problem they had? And does that make me less than a vehicle? Does that make me less than a servant of a higher power? And I think that's an interesting thing if we're asking Sarah to look at where does our individual purpose in life fit into the divine or cosmic purpose in life. Just my thoughts.
Yes, thank you. Those are, it makes sense. That's a very rich. So I think that that's an interesting question. How do our personal purposes fit in with the divine purposes? How does that happen? And what can we do to understand the bigger purposes, the cosmic purposes, the global purposes? How do we understand so much? It's so huge. But you don't have to answer that question either. You can continue to share your purposes. This is very rich, you know.
Yes.
So I have a little different take on things, and I got connected on a different device outside, and so I'm glad to at least be able to hear things. And we just want to let Linda Carter know that if you're on a phone, you need to use *6 to mute or unmute yourself if you're trying to share here. But I've been reading a little bit about psilocybin, the mushroom that is being used as a part of the treatment for depression and anxiety. And there's some fears that that it'll be used for, or that Wall Street will try to get their hands on it rather than allowing. Could you try again? My phone's trying to talk to me. But some of the people that have used this have had experiences of beings in this other experience place that they go kind of in an in-between place. And some folks say that it's a similar experience using MDMA, either for mental health purposes or as an experience that people have used psychedelics for spiritual reasons for probably the whole history of humanity. And that some folks are recognizing that the beings that they're in conversations with during their times on these psychedelics are also pointing out that consciousness maybe is that the universe itself creates consciousness and helps us evolve into other in past lives or current lives to be able to experience consciousness in new ways. And so there's some conjecture that consciousness itself is the purpose of the universe, and that we may experience it in differing ways in different lifetimes, depending on the evolution of the beings that we exist within on whatever planet that might be, or even as humans evolve, that we might be getting, that there might be some way for us to evolve before our life energy goes back into the universe as a more sentient being than having worked out all of the issues of the lives that we have right now. So that's just a different answer that some folks are answering this question with, but it's not from a religious persuasion, even though it is an answer that comes from the use of earth medicines that different indigenous peoples around the world have used for centuries to be able to experience the divine in their in their cosmology. So I'll just leave that out there.
Wow, thank you. If I may take just one moment, I was actually privileged to be one of 5 people just a little while ago to be in a group of elders like myself who were sharing, each one of us 5, who were sharing our experiences with LSD. And they were expressing connection with divinity, increase in consciousness, awareness of the universe, a feeling of belonging to the universe. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, if I could just have recorded these 5 elders talking about their experiences with LSD and share this with the young people who probably don't have any idea that a lot of elders have had these experiences. Wouldn't that be fun? But it was very interesting, you know, LSD. And, you know, a lot of us came from the 60s and we were experimenting for sure. But I don't want to continue the discussion along these lines necessarily, as interesting as it probably could be. I would like to also go back to a question that I would like to ask John. If we're heading towards one without borders, why is it important to have exclusive religions? You made a comment that it's necessary for these religions to be exclusive, otherwise they would not exist. Well, what if a lot of these religions didn't exist and they did let go of their borders? What would that be like?
Well, thank you for asking that question, because one time I gave a talk here in a church that what we need to do is liberate God from the bondage of religions.
Yes.
Because God has been, and I said, I proposed that God has been imprisoned in each of these religions. And we need to liberate the God before we can liberate ourselves. So that is something to think about. But on another note that Will brought up, there is a recent article just about 3 to 4 days ago, and I don't have access to that article at this time. I was trying to get that, but the title of the article in Scientific American, the magazine, the Scientific American, just about 3-4 days ago, the title is "We Are the Aliens," that we, the human species on the earth, are the aliens, because they are so different from any other creatures. It appears like some, something hit the earth, and suddenly there was appearance of human being, and there is nothing like human being on the earth, and we are aliens ourselves on this planet. So that is something to think about. But to go back to your question, I have thought about that myself, that religions themselves are a barrier between God and us human. Religions have become barriers between you and me and between other people. And any barrier between you and me is a barrier between me and God.
Ah,
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Anybody else to share anything?
Yes. I should say, first of all, my head is exploding right now from all the terrific things that have been said and all the things that I would love to respond to. Somebody just said a minute ago, just about maybe the purpose of the universe is consciousness. Well, Shelley wrote a poem, 200 years ago, Hymn to Apollo, where one of the stanzas begins with, "I am the eye in which the universe beholds itself and knows itself divine."
Wow. Say that
and
again.
I love that. And I think that feels to me, whatever that is worth, that feels to me right and true.
Can you say that again?
Yes,
I am.
I am the I in which the universe knows itself and knows itself divine. Or here, hang on, let me make sure I'm getting that right for you.
That is so such a powerful statement.
I'm the I with which the universe beholds itself and knows itself divine. Yeah, it's from Shelley's, Percy Shelley's poem "Hymn to Apollo."
Yeah, now that you mention it, I remember it now. Right.
Yeah, it's a terrific poem, and
beautiful.
So, oh gosh, I can't respond to everything that was said, but I too had a little bit of trouble when we start talk about whether or not we can know the attributes of God. At least in my experience, and God keeps shifting on me and changing. And there's a wonderful story. It's a Native American story about there are these two workers out in a field, and there's a path in between them. And God decides one day to walk down the path. And God, and it is a male God, has a hat on. One side is red and one side is black. So the two guys, they run back to the village at the end of the day and they say, "I've seen God, I've seen God." And he says, "Yes, he's wearing a black hat." And the other says, "No, he didn't. He's wearing a red hat." And he says, "I tell you what, let's go out the next day. We'll go back out into the field and we'll invite God to come again. But we'll do it on opposite sides of the field. That way I can see what you saw and you can see what I saw." So they did. Next day, God comes walking back the other direction, and God turns the hat around so that the guys see the same side that they saw before. This is my experience of God exactly. Some of the other things that we talked about, what is my purpose? I've thought a lot about this. And sometimes it really depends. So many of the things, John, that you mentioned and that others mentioned as purposes, they seem to me like wonderful aspirations and hopes. But I don't, given all the matters that concern us during the day, as we go through day by day, I have to wonder if our purpose isn't something else or something also. I mean, for instance, some days I feel like my purpose is to open the jars that my wife can't open, or to reach the stuff on the shelf that she can't reach, or to take out the garbage or what have you. I think, though, to sort of cut through everything else I might say, I've come to a place in my life where I discover my purpose every time I'm before the face of somebody else. It seems to me that I'm learning who I am by listening and by responding to the people who are around me. And that's really the best that I can do. And if I look back on my life, that really is kind of how I've lived. I have my work and I have the things that I'm very interested in, but when it comes down to it, it is about my relationships and the love and the goodness that I try to bring to the people that come into my orbit. And that's when I realized, we are, as Sister Marilyn was talking about, this whole Western post-enlightenment notion of the autonomous individual self, it's so silly. And it's just been a joy as I get older to discover how much more fun it is for me to be thinking about you than it is to be thinking about myself, And so, I don't know, I've just said a lot, but you've just witnessed how much my brain is exploding by all the wonderful things that have been said. And John, thank you so much, sir, for sharing with us.
Well, thank you, all of you, for contributing to these thought processes. Thank you.
It is very rich with each one of you that speaks. I am becoming so aware that, like, our experience with God is so unique, so personal. It's been said there are as many religions as there are people. And there are as many purposes as there are people. So thank you, Dan, for that. Spoken like a very clear speaking minister.
Oh, thanks. Let me add, Sarah, one thing. I did want to respond to the idea with which I very much agree that the main obstacle between us and God tends to be religion. I think, or at least what I've learned is we all just need to lighten up. You know, we just need not to take these things. You know, I'm a Christian minister and I'm dedicated. And I think, you know, a lot of, I like Jesus quite a bit, but I realize my understanding is really very limited. And I need to just lighten up on the truth value that I give to Christianity. It is not the only way to think of things. It is a way of looking at the world, and there are other marvelous ways of looking at the world that are very interesting if you'll stop taking your own so damn seriously. There, I've said it.
Well said, and that's one of the great benefits of the interfaith councils, which are happening, have been happening around the world, and discussions like this, where people might hear someone saying something that they can take. I like that. I'm going to put that into my own framework. And we continue to create our own framework. It is a creative experience, moment by moment. We have a few minutes left. I want to hear from anybody that has anything to say about their purpose, answer any of the questions. It's certainly been rich, and we probably could continue, but there are time limits.
Yeah, Helen wants to say something.
Oh, please.
So I also feel I could relate to so many of the comments that were made, but I love the continuum you gave starting off, Sarah, about the purpose of the toddler and the purpose of the frail person they're the same. And also in between, I like the idea. For me, I would say it's continually trying to find the purpose, because each day could be different. And I love the idea of each time you look at someone, you know, you have another purpose in mind. And I liked what you said about the soul, the movie Life is But a Day's Work. It sounds like The Mayfly or something. Do it well. I don't think of it as work, but you know, this constant seeking perhaps. And the Dalai Lama, I think, said something that resonates with me. He said, never give up, no matter what is going on around you, no matter what's going on in the world, never give up. Too much time in your country is spent, he says, develop the heart. Too much time in your country is spent developing the mind or the head instead of the heart. Develop the heart. Be compassionate, not just to yourself, but to others. Be compassionate. Work for peace in yourself and in the world. But this above all, never give up. So I think that that message has a lot of breadth that can be applied to many situations. So I think the idea for me of compassion, loving kindness, equanimity, and joy all feed into that. But the never give up, I think, is important, especially in these trying times. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Helen. Yes. Just Channing, go ahead.
I want to mimic what Dave Longhorse put in the message, the chat box, how much I've really enjoyed today's discussion. Because rather than just asking questions of John, our speaker, we have really communicated our own hearts to the question that we're exploring. And I think that the richness of each of us in our authentic selves coming forward and expressing all the variety of how we receive the information from John and how we think about how we're going to relate to that information going forward. I just want to say how much I appreciate this discussion, and I hope we can do so in the future. The second thing I want to say is I believe, you know, that every single day is a discipline for me. It's a discipline between being stuck in a Western culture which is very individualistic, very list oriented, very driven. And coming back to my original thought of experiencing God, having a relationship with God. The question is, what is God? And I'm not a believer in the traditional God. I'm really a believer in the scientific view. I'm a believer in the universal view. Oops, somebody was knocking at my door. I believe for me that the universal meaning of everything is the interconnectedness and the interdependence of everything. And I mean everything. We are not separate from the trees. We are not separate from the flowers. We are not separate from the plants. And, you know, when you have a chance to look into indigenous culture and indigenous medicine, you understand the wholeness of their view of the world. And I saw a quote once that said, let's see, how does it go? When I remember it, I'll come back, Sarah. I just forgot that. But I think that every single day, you know, when I do my walks or when I'm just working around the house, I really think about the oneness of life and my connection to everything else. It's not a separate connection, you know, it's that sort of magical, mysterious thing of being connected without being physically connected. And so to me, that's the life of the divine within me. And just like Dan said, you know, he gets his energy from being with other people, from looking in other people's eyes, and really seeing the divine in each and every person, and seeing the divine in each one of us, and making our connection through that, through the divinity.
Sally McFaig talks about our definitions of God always being myths, models, or metaphors, because God is ineffable. And I wish we could hold our myths and models and metaphors for God as lightly as Pastor Dan encourages us, and recognize that they're going to work for us while they work for us. But there's going to be times in our lives when we are going to need a different model, metaphor, or myth, a story of meaning to find ourselves in. And most of us in the Western culture have tried to pattern our own lives after the hero myths, and we need, you know, we need different myths to live by. We need ones where we are interconnected, Channing, where we're a part of the greater whole. Panentheism gets us close there, but I think pantheism actually gets us there too, depending on how you define God. One of the best metaphors I use these days is the universe itself. And when I view myself as a part of the universe, it's a part of a greater whole that you are also a part of, and therefore I need to treat you with respect and need to practice the platinum rule with you, where I treat you the way you want to be treated rather than treating you the way I want to be treated.
Thank you.
And
These
I
are just
to what
beautiful endings and beginnings. And I unless there's somebody else that has something to say, I think I'm going to, John, please, I would love to end with you.
I just wanted to say what Channing talked about when she goes out and looks at the plants, she feels a connection. In fact, we do have a symbiotic relationship with the plant world, because we exhale the carbon dioxide they absorb, and they release the oxygen that we inhale. So it's a very symbiotic relationship with our plant world, you know.
Yes, yes. And with each other and with all things.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
So, John, you have certainly provided us with a richness and a space and stimulation to continue with our discussions, and thank each one of you for contributing, and tune in next month. Thank you, John, so much. Once again, your book is, people could buy your book, let's see, One World, a Sufi's Ruminations on One World under God.
Yes.
And thank you, Sunshine, for finding the book and finding John for us.
Yes.
Yeah. And thank you
And
all. Thank you. very
thank
much.
you.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you.
Sarah, I remember what I was going to say.
Oh, please go ahead.
So I have to say it. This is a conversation between an indigenous person and a Western person. The Western person sees the world through ownership. They see that they have dominion over everything in the world. The indigenous person sees that they have responsibility. They have connection and they have responsibility to the world. So I think the difference between ownership, and if you think about all the problems that we're having, it's because of greed and ownership and dominion and so forth, versus the responsibility ethic, which I think is extremely, I mean, you look at the way Native Americans look at the world and the way that they live, and it's just, you know, they accept the responsibility of living with the world and treating the world and understanding that everything that they have is from nature.
And which remind us that we are all a part of all that is. And so it is good to end on that, because I think in one way or another, we all did say that.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sunshine.
Yes, and one more thing that is so exciting to me is that here we have expressions from Sufi, from Baha'i, from Sufism reoriented, from Christian, from progressive Christian. I think that's what you are, Will, and Mormon, and what else?
Humanism.
Yes.
I think Robert was speaking.
Yes. So we have, you know, one thing that the Big Questions Committee likes to look at through these big question sessions is the golden threads that go through all of the religions. And we have seen a number of those golden threads today, which really wrap around the one, or the one wraps around the golden threads. So thank you so much again, John, and everybody for your sharing. And we'll see you next month.
Okay.
Tune in again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sarah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.